I hope you are all well and ready for tonight's lesson, which is writing and comprehension. Some of the things we dealt with in the past. And we are just continuing to sharpen your idea, to sharpen your skills of writing, to sharpen your skills of listening, to sharpen your skills of comprehending. Writing and comprehension. Comprehension, what is comprehension? Is the understanding and interpretation of what is read. Read, you hear the words, you understand them, and you interpret them. That's comprehension. You are comprehending what you are reading. This has been happening with you since you were born. This has been happening with you since you started school. This has been happening with you since you realize that you can talk and you can hear people talking. You are able to can comprehend. That is comprehension. Now, to be able to accurately understand written material, you need to be able to decode what you read, make connections between what you read and what you already know, and think deeply about what you have read. As an English student who is preparing himself for the writing, either at your work or for studying or for preparing yourself to be this writer who has got skills, who can be envied by anyone, you have to know that comprehension is very important and how do you deal with it. My next slide. One big part of comprehension is having a sufficient vocabulary. From day one, I've been teaching about vocabulary. I even said you must have your vocabulary basket somewhere in your mind that this word is new, this word I need to use. I've been knowing this word, but I didn't know how to use it. But now that you have the grammar of the language, you know which words are important or which words you have never heard or which words are not even necessary for you to use because they are slang or they are words that are not acceptable in any language as a professional. So vocabulary or knowing the meanings of enough words. Each and every word has a meaning. If you don't understand that word, it means the word is new to you or you have never heard about it. So what do you do when you realize that you are hearing this word for the first time? What do you do? I want us to talk. Please answer. What do you do when you hear or you read a word and you realize that I'm hearing this for the first time? What do you do about it?
You go to the dictionary.
Class, anyone? Try, please. You go to the dictionary so that you get the meaning of the word. I see. Yeah, exactly. Judith, what are you saying?
Ma'am, I was the one who said that.
Oh, it's Judith. Okay, I thought it was Mpo because Mpo's mic was blinking also. Okay, thank you very much, Judith. You go to the dictionary to get the meaning of the word and to see and to know how it is pronounced and in different ways. That's what we do with a new word, and it will direct you. Readers who have strong comprehension can draw conclusions about what they read, what is important, what is a fact, what caused an event to happen, which characters are funny. When you read, I was still saying, readers who have strong comprehension can draw conclusions about what they read. What is important? What is a fact? What caused an event to happen? Which characters are funny? There is no way that you can read about something or watch a movie and you don't comprehend anything. You are going to comprehend something when you read, whether you read just a paragraph or you read a chapter or you read the whole book, you will comprehend something. You will come to a conclusion that, oh, I've read about this. Remember, I even said last time that from primary school, you were taught that now this is comprehension period, where the teacher will give you a piece to read and write a comprehension out of that. That is, you summarize what you read or you paraphrase what you read. It's comprehension. And out of that, you draw only the important facts. When we say something, this one is a good fact. It's something that is giving you the gist of the comprehension. It gives you the gist, and that is a fact. And as you read further, you want to know what caused an event to happen. As I said, we are a mixed bag, so we don't know whether you are a journalist or you are a secretary or you are just studying this to be a good thesis writer for your academic writing. You need to know when you read that you analyze what you are reading. You can only analyze if you can comprehend what you are reading. And you can only comprehend if you have the skill of, remember I said there are 4 important skills. Can somebody remind us what are those skills quickly? The skills that you need to have as a writer.
Ma'am, how about making use of the vocabulary?
Vocabulary is what you learn, but what makes you to know that I'm accumulating my vocabulary? What is the skill that you use? Remember the 4 skills that we have been hammering on since? The 4 skills.
Listening.
Listening, good, good. Thank you, Mpho. Another one?
It's Judith, ma'am.
Oh, why it comes under Mpho? Okay, sorry, Judith. Listening, yes. And another one?
Remembering.
Remembering, it's part of comprehension. It's not that much a skill.
Speaking, ma'am.
Speaking, yes, but it is not this understanding. All those contributes to our listening. And what else? Remember when I was saying when a child is born, what is the first thing that this child is doing?
I was gonna say reading.
Reading, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What somebody said speaking, somebody said reading. Yes, it's skill. It's another skill. 2 more. Sorry?
Visualize.
Visualize, yes, you can see, but the skill of you to be able to see, what is it?
Writing.
Writing, yes, that's skill number 3. We still need the last one.
It's speaking.
Speaking, yes, they mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
Another one? You can't tell me. Sorry?
Responding.
Responding, it's part of comprehension. You apply all those. There is this one that you didn't mention, class. You mentioned
I said
the 4
evaluating.
skills.
Evaluating.
The 4 skills. The 4 skills. Okay, let me help you. We have the 4 skills: listening, right? We have writing. It's a skill. And we have speaking. What is the last one?
Seeing.
Seeing is part of writing, because reading. Thank you. Yes, yes. Those are the 4 skills that are very important. I said when a child is born, the first thing that this child is doing is what? The child is going to feel that there is somebody holding him or her. Then from there, the sounds are coming into the child's ear. The sounds from where? From all the people surrounding him or her. So they end up, changing into his mind or her mind to be sounds that the child will start mimicking. So you must have all the skills if you want to be a good writer, if you want to be a good writer, a professional writer who will be needed or who will be wanted by the employers all over that. This one is very good. Or if you are in the journalist space, you are able to can put your story in such a way that people envy you. Okay, thank you very much. Readers who have strong comprehension draw conclusions, read what is important, what is a fact, what caused an event, which characters are funny. Sometimes people are writing to make us laugh. We have comedians, they write their stories. We have people who are writing about very serious, deep issues about the country. There are people who are, thus comprehension involves combining reading with thinking, reasoning. Comprehension, it's reading, thinking, and reasoning. Okay, I'm saying the first slide, I said you must be able to decode. You must make connections between what you read and what you already know, and think deeply about what you have read. Then on this next slide, thus comprehension involves combining reading and with thinking and reasoning. There is no way that you are going to read without thinking or without reasoning. Everything that you read, you question. Everything that you read, you want to understand. So when you want to understand, what is it that you are using? You use your comprehension. You decode your words. You go back there, you decode what you are reading. Decoding, remember I taught about decoding also. You put in and out of what you are reading. Make connections between what you read empty mind. When you go to school, whether you go to a new class, when you decode, you are taking in and out. So this, let me go back to this one. Combining reading with thinking and reasoning. If you read or you are listening to me right now and you don't comprehend anything, then it means there is something wrong with your mind, because you cannot just listen without comprehend. There's no way that you can just listen without getting anything into your mind. Now, let's move to this slide. Writing comprehension, still course of writing throughout your academic career will use writing to express your knowledge. If you have something in your mind, you will make sure you will put it on paper, or you have seen something, you want to put it down, you want to write it. Class writing, I'm not talking about this Facebook writing. I'm not talking about the Instagram writing. I'm not talking about writing that is just there to impress other people. No, I'm talking about the academic career. Whether you study, you want to write for your honors, master's, or PhD, or because you want to be a journalist, or you study, you want to be this good secretary, or you're studying to envy a person who is a chartered secretary. That person becomes the studied the language, so that when this person is going to continue now to take to be a chartered secretary, then the vocabulary in his or her mind is enough. If you go to school, it doesn't matter it's grade 0 or grade 12, your mind is full of knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge that you don't even know that you have it. You will only discover when you get there that, I this topic to you. Then you realize that, or maybe you once traveled by train, or you read about trains, even if you were never inside a train, but you read about trains. You know what is inside the train, even if you were never there, you know. Same as you know what is inside an aeroplane, even if you were never inside an aeroplane. You don't have an empty mind of anything. Most of the things, you have them. When we talk about farming, for instance, you know what farmers do. You have this idea of knowing where potatoes come from. They don't just come, you find them at the fish and chips shop and buy chips that are ready. They come from somewhere. Now, you will use writing to express your knowledge. It's important that when you talk, the other time I said when I was teaching, sometimes you just want to pour out your mind. When you are angry, you write. When you are too happy, you write. When you are sad, you write. You express what is inside you. That is using your writing to heal yourself or to tell the whole world how happy you are. Now, to express knowledge, it's when you take writing as your academic career, or it's when you want the world to know about something that we don't know of. Maybe you are in the health department, you research something and you discover something. You express that knowledge by writing it, putting it down, so that people can see it and they will comprehend it. They're going to use it after reading it. Educators often use written assignments to test their students' understanding of a topic or subject. Remember, it's October month. It's that month of examinations, tests, and so on. And before that, you wrote assignments. That is when you are being tested, if you understand what you have been taught. I don't test you, I just ask you questions to check if you follow. But still that, it's a way of checking if you are following. I test the knowledge that you are gathering. So it's very important that your comprehension must always be there to know that now I have to listen. After listening, I have to comprehend. After comprehending, I have to put down my mind. What do I think about what I've just heard? Being able to write well will ensure that you can express your mastery of a subject in an effective manner. In an effective manner, because You cannot just write. If you are told to write about an example, the moon, maybe. What do you know? What do you think about the moon? Look at the moon. The moon is out right now. What do you think? What do you see? Yes, that round thing, we call it, or half round, whatever, we call it a moon. Then the first question will be in your mind, but who said it's a moon? Who gave that name? That this is the sun, this is the moon, this is the clouds, and so on and so on. Then you want to express yourself about what you are seeing. You see this moon, you start by saying it's a round thing. You are not sure whether it's green or express what you see. You are able to can express what you see. Then, in a very effective manner, you put that down in writing. Writing is about more than education. Class, writing is more than education. It's not just in education where people write. We write everywhere and every minute. That is why attending school is very important, because if you cannot read and write, you miss out, you lose out on some other things that are surrounding you in the world. When you walk, you see there's a board there written, don't go in. It's a warning that don't go in. That writing gives you a message. That writing gives you a warning. So that is why I say writing is not only about education, it's more than education. Writing, reading and writing, it's not just for academics, it's not just for people, for lawyers, for nurses. No, 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 no. Writing and reading, it's for everyone, at least the basics. It's for everyone. If you cannot read and write, and you find yourself being an adult, you find it difficult, because you will always want people to write something for you. You will always want people to read out something for you. Even then, your dignity, your dignity is tempered, because now imagine I'm reading some private things, personal things that I'm not supposed to know about you. But because you cannot read and you received this document, you have to give it to someone to read for you. Or you even have to ask someone to respond, to fill in that form for you. That's so sad. The other time I went to the Home Affairs for applying for my ID long time ago, before we could apply for things at the banks. I saw this long queue, a very long queue with young people there, very young. Then, because I didn't know where to go, how to get inside, I asked, which queue do I follow? And a gentleman came running to me. No, don't go there, because this queue is for people who cannot write. So they are waiting for people who can read and write to help them fill in forms. How? And what is happening? And then they pay them. So I asked more questions to understand what is happening. I felt so sad that children this age, in this century, we still have children who cannot read and write. And when it's nothing difficult. It's just your personal data, your address, your name, surname, cell phone number, email. That's all. It's nothing difficult. But they people, they said they are paying about 50 rand, some 20 rands, depending who you are talking to. Then they fill in that form for you. Then you go now and submit that form to the relevant office. That side, really, to see in this century people who cannot read and write. Let us be careful not to increase illiterates in our country. It's very, very important. We talk about comprehension here, but remember, your comprehension can only work if you can read if you can write and you can speak, because you write something that you have heard, or the word writing, oh, it's spelled this way, I can write it this way. So please, please take note that it is very important to read and write, and know that writing is more than education. It is not just for education, it is for anyone. You don't even have to feel guilty if you teach yourself for 3 years to write, playing with those toys. It's very important. Just continue doing it. It is a way to participate in human and meaning making, to interact with the world and make your mark on it. Yeah? That is the importance of writing. You participate in human culture and meaning making to interact with the world and make your mark on it. I just quickly want to ask, what do you think about this sentence, that it is a human culture? What do you understand? What do I mean when I say it's a human culture to interact? Okay, it's a way of living.
Yes,
You have
yes.
tried. Yes. Is that Mpo? Somebody's talking?
Yes, ma'am. I was about to say
Yes.
that your question was,
What do you understand by human culture?
I think it's lifestyle, ma'am. We live by communicating with each other, interacting, and normally when you want to address someone, you communicate. I don't know how to put it, but I thought of it, but I can't put it into words.
You want to address someone, you are? That's where I missed you.
When you
There was a
trying
hand
to
up. Mm.
when you're trying to have a conversation with someone, you're communicating. It's a way of life. I think it's a way of
Okay.
life.
Human culture, because all human can talk. All human can. You don't talk to yourself. You talk to yourself, yes, when you write something, but normally when you are amongst people, what do? You communicate with people. Yes, it's a lifestyle. It's a way of talking to people. It's a way of interacting. There's a hand up. I don't know whose hand is it. Please, you can. This hand here. There's a hand up. Do you want to say something? I don't see the
Yes, ma'am,
name.
I want to say something. It's something similar to what the previous
Yes,
speaker was
please,
saying.
go on.
Yes, it is a way that all human beings have to communicate. It's something that is very common to human beings.
To communicate.
Yes.
In different languages, you're right, Maseko. In different languages, in different ways of talking, and even in different ages. A 2-year-old speak to a 2-year-old, they understand each other. A 35-year-old person will speak to a 35-year-old in that language. You know, the age also counts, because you are not going to talk to a very elderly person and address this person like you are addressing your friend. Remember when I mentioned this many, many times, that there is this language that is people are using. They just say, when they want to say good afternoon, good day, good evening, they just say hi. And hi is not the right way of greeting people that you don't know. It's a culture that is there. It's been used. We all understand that when you say hi, you're trying to greet, but it's a culture that is wrongly used. and you contact who you say hi, or you just say something that is not used by people language, that is not used by not used by elderly people. I remember in the same class here, I mentioned about Tsotsital, that Tsotsital is a lively language. Every day there is something new that they introduce. If they read that, we know what they're saying. They change that term. They change that term to something else. I gave an example. I don't know who's listening when I teach. I gave an example that when I grew up, they used to call us Mtigene, meaning girlfriend, or then it changed to Cherry, then it changed to Medi, then it changed back to Cherry. It changes all the time, or and it depends on the area also. Where they speak Setswana, that one is for both males and females. They use that. It's the language that continues. But you cannot say those things to your mother or to your father. You talk that language with your age group, right? That is the culture, because human beings communicate. Human beings say things together, and they find themselves being comfortable with it. It's somebody said now, I don't know, it's Judith or Mpo said, it's a lifestyle. The way we participate in our human culture, it's our lifestyle. We live like that and we accept. But unfortunately, there are also things that are written that we have accepted, even if they are wrong. That's where the problem is. Even if they are wrong, because it's a human culture, we grow up being told things like that, or they are written like that, we accept them, of which you, as a person who wants to write academically, you won't use those. You will correct those. You will even go to an extent of researching those cultures and saying, no, this is not right. Then you've got to come with meaning making to interact. You cannot just say a group of words that are not making sense. You've got to say something. For me to comprehend what you are saying, I have to say things that you will understand. The words, the vocabulary that is in you will help you, make you understand what I'm saying, to interact with the world and make your mark on it. You make your mark on it. When you write, you don't just write for the sake of writing. You write that people should understand. But before they understand, they have to have your vocabulary. They have to understand what you are saying. Moving to the next slide. Writing. Writing is a complex, productive process because it involves knowledge of verbal language. It involves visual expression, as well as physical fine motor skills used when writing by hand or typing. The other time I was saying, I wish I could do face-to-face with this class, because I'll be able to see your visual expressions, be understand whether you follow or you don't follow. I'll be able to know whether you are comprehending or not. When writing, you use all of those. When talking, as I'm talking right now, I don't see you. I speak like I'm in front of you because I'm used to gesturing when I talk. I'm used to using when I say gesturing, I mean using my hands, using my head, using my face. You'd read a lot from my face as I'm talking. So now you ask yourself, what is the process here? Because now knowledge is there. I need knowledge and verbal language. The knowledge comes from where? From the vocabulary that you have gathered. And it comes from the vocabulary that is used by the speaker. And when you write, you're going to use that. When you visualize your expression, to visualize is to see, by the way. When you see, you express yourself in writing because you want to put whatever you think down on paper. And you use your physical fine motor skills. Can somebody try to tell us what is this physical fine, the motor skills that you have? What is it? Right now you have them. What is it? Somebody try, please.
I think
Yeah.
fine motor skills is the use of the small muscles like our hand, how we write, or how we type.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The hand only.
It can be with the like you said, you've also given us the example that when you're talking, you're using hands and head, moving sideways. Yeah, I think that's how our small muscles work.
Okay. Thank you. I saw somebody's trying to talk again. TP there.
Okay, so I was saying fine motor skills includes like movements of your eyes, your hands, your fingers.
Very good. Eyes, hands, fingers, and so on. Thank you very much. You add to that. Maseko, your hand was up. Those are motor skills that we use as I'm talking. Remember, we've got the vocal cords. When I talk, my vocal cords are busy. When I read and write, the eyes are busy. And the comprehension part is always there. You cannot do without. It's very important that it's always there. You cannot do without. Any question before I move? Are we okay? If you are okay, it's fine. So we use our writing skills by hand or typing. Now, by the way, before you can even write or type, you come from far, you come from listening, you come from hearing, you come from mimicking the words before you write. You know, all those things are applied for you to be able to write. To say this symbol A stands for this symbol. A is written this way. It's a symbol, but when you say it, you say A or you say R. You see T. It's a symbol when you see it. If you cannot read, if you cannot write, you won't know what that is. Let us take we all know how the Chinese writing is. Is it Chinese? The one that they write, I don't know whether it's Hebrew or Greek or whatever. Their writing is like, you don't understand. You just see some strips being drawn there, some little drawings. They are the only people who understand what is it. Just like we understand what we are reading and writing. I don't know whether you have ever heard of Braille. Do you know Braille? Anyone can explain who uses Braille and what is Braille? I'm listening.
Braille is used by people who cannot see.
People who cannot see. And when
Blind.
you look, Braille is used by blind people. If you look at their books, their watches, anything that they use, they use their fingers to feel the number of dots that are there. I call them dots because I wanted to know how they use this thing. Because the time when I was told my eyesight is weak, I said, Joe, I thought as a child, 15-year-old, I thought I'm going to be blind. So when I was about 18 and so on, I visited this school just to go. I was trying to go and learn how to read Braille. And they told me that if you are able, you know the letters, you know these letters, you cannot read Braille because you need to be trained to know so many 3 dots going up means this, 3 dots going to your right means this, 3 or 5 dots going to your left means this letter. So it's very, very difficult, but they use it and it's helping because there is no one who can say, I cannot read, I cannot write because I'm blind or because I'm deaf or I'm dumb. You cannot. We still have ways of making you comfortable with your reading, comfortable with your writing. Now, working memory. What is a memory? Memory class? Karabo?
Memory is somewhere information is stored.
Where information is stored. Yes, it's memory. Anyone again? Simplify it.
To remember past experiences or learned information.
We all use memory to remember what we did yesterday or just now. Our memory stored everything and anything else in our minds. And you just trigger on your memory and you are able to can remember what was said, what was happening, what you saw, what you dreamt about. It's in your memory. So working memory is a function of the brain that integrates all these areas of knowledge and is very important for language production. That is working memory. If you are forgetful, your memory doesn't function well. That is why with elderly people as they grow, there is this disease that they call Alzheimer, where the memory forgets. People tend to forget everything, big or small things, they forget. So the memory is not working properly. Now we've got to check. And memory is very important, class, because if your brain was damaged, maybe as a child, or your brain was damaged in an accident or somewhere you fell or you were hit by whatever, your memory is going to be disturbed. So you are not going to have a functional working memory. So you will find that people who are forgetful, sometimes forgetfulness is done by habit. If you don't care much of what you are doing or of what you are saying, you end up having this brain of, I don't care, or I forgot, or you like using the word, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Oh, I'm sorry. You plant it in your brain in such a way that you don't even see the wrong out of it, of which, if you want your memory to be working all the time, you train your memory the same way the child is trained to remember R, A, E, O, U. You train your memory that I'm not going to forget this. Put it in your memory and take it out when you want to use it. You store it and you take it out when you want to use it, so that you don't quickly, as you grow, end up having a dysfunctional memory. Then you've got what we call Alzheimer. You forget everything. There are even jokes that elderly people have been mocked on, that you'll find that a couple forget they forget the names of each other, and when they are asked, what's the name of your wife? And this man will just say, oh, no, I just call her darling, because the memory is not there. He can't remember the name of this person anymore. So that is what I'm talking about, that you've got to be very, very careful what you store in your mind, in your brain. The usage of your brain from childhood is very, very important. And ladies, let me advise you, when you deliver babies, be careful who's delivering your baby and what they are using, because there are articles where children's brains were damaged when they were delivered. They were using those biceps to pull them out, holding their brains just like that. At that time, the brain is damaged. That brain is not going to function properly. So a working memory is very important. I want you to be aware that there is no part of a human being that is not important. There is no part that is not important. That is why each and every part needs to be treated with care, from being inside somebody's womb to when you are delivered. As you grow, what is it that is pumped into this brain is very, very important. And the language that is going to be in that brain, that is the one that we are busy now with, we are talking about. Some other things I just throw general human things, human life, that you've got to be careful. Maybe you can ask yourself, but what causes people to be mad? We term them, we call them, give them terms. Oh, this one is mad. Mad because whatever he's saying doesn't make sense. Whatever he's writing doesn't make sense. Whatever he's trying to put across doesn't make sense. So we say this person's mind is mad, is a mad person, because the brain doesn't function properly. The memory, this person's memory is full of vocabulary. There is vocabulary in this brain. There is vocabulary in this memory, but it is not properly functioning. It is stored, but it is not properly functioning. That is why when this person tries to talk, they think they say the right thing or they are doing the right thing, but they are not under normal human cultural way. They don't do the right thing. Okay. If there are no questions, I move to the 3 parts. Important language production. It consists of 3 parts of language production. The brain. A phonological part where verbal information is stored. It has to do with speech sounds and how they represent meaning. That's the phonological part, the first part of the brain. The brain of a person keeps information. It stores information. And the information that is there, the phonological part, the first thing that is in that brain is the vocabulary. The vocabulary that you heard from when you were born, the vocabulary that you picked up whilst reading, the vocabulary that you used from primary school, preschool, and so on. It's stored there, it's kept there, because this vocabulary came through speech sounds. Remember, I said when a child is born, this child is surrounded by sounds. That's the only thing that this child is going to hear before these sounds can be converted to language, before these sounds can be converted to spelling. This is in the phonological part of your brain. Then those speech sounds and how they represent meaning. Now we term it in the language, we call them vocabulary. And at the same time, comprehension. Everything happens in the you comprehend, but how is it comprehended? By having everything, the information in your phonological part. And the visual spatial part, it has to do with the visual perception of spatial relations between visual objects like letters or words. Now here, that's where the eyes come in visual. You know, you see there is a lot of information that is packed in your phonological part. And then you have this because you can see it, that part, you see those visual perceptions. When I say write, you know the word, how to write, you know it. But you see it, the word write, you see it. So the visual perception of spatial relations between visual objects like letters or words. That is why when you teach anyone language or reading and writing, the skills, you first make sure that the sound is registered, it's in the phonological part. Then you move to make sure that this sound that I taught this child, it's stored. Now let us see if the sound can be converted to a letter, to writing. That is when now the visual part comes in, the visual spatial part. That is when it comes in to show that the very sound that we have been talking about, the very sound that we have stored, it's in your brain, it's saved there. And we are able to can take it out and write it down. The word brain, you all know when I say brain, you know where to find the brain in your head, it's your brain. And how to write the word brain, you all know. But it started where? At the phonological part. Then you are able to see it because somebody taught you how to write BRAIN. Somebody taught you to write the letters. So your visual works. It is, again, very important for somebody to see. If you don't see, then we will use other means like Braille for you to see, so that you can see the letters. You can also write like other people. The third one, an executive part that controls and regulates the other two parts. The executive, we take out. We take out what we have. We execute using our eyes, using our phonological part, which is very, very important for comprehending. If somebody cannot comprehend anything, this person is not well. Let me put it that way. This person needs help. That is why from a very early age, a child is tested in many, many different ways to check that this child's brain is fine, the vision is okay, the speech is also okay. Even if at that point the child cannot talk, but they are able to can detect if the speech sounds of this child will not be right, will not be corrected. I remember somewhere in my early lessons, I spoke about people who speak the language, who pronounce the R in a different way. I know I said it in this class. That there are people who says R for R. And the child grows to, the child doesn't know or doesn't hear anything except mommy who's saying r. So this child also is going to talk like that. If you hear all these children who are using that sound r as r, it's not to say they have a defect. Not all of them. Not all of them have a defect. Some copied from mommy because mommy copied from mama. Mama copied from the elderly one, and so on, and it goes on. Unlike a language in South Sesotho, they cannot pronounce r as we pronounce it. They pronounce it as r. It is their language. It's fine there, but in Gauteng, for instance, I don't take it. Every child who uses r instead of is because this child is a Mosotho. No. Some of them, I know, I saw it from my family. I tried to train the child, don't do this, don't say it that way, say it, but they'll say it when you are there. When you leave, they go back to what they are used to. So to execute, controls, and regulates the other parts is very important. So when you comprehend something, you visualize it, you write it. You store it first, you visualize it, then you execute. You use that vocabulary, the one that I've been saying, take each and every new word, put it in your vocabulary box. Make sure that your box is growing daily of the vocabulary. Are you asking a question? Yes? Somebody talking?
No, sorry.
Huh?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to ask a question.
No.
Okay. You're fine. All right. Thank you. So we all understood the brain, 3 parts of language production in the brain. Okay. How to integrate the parts? You need to understand the phonological and visuospatial aspects of working memory as being involved. You need to understand the visuospatial aspects of working memory as being involved in the 2 parts of the writing process. You are involved now. You understand how to comprehend. When I listen to people talking, I apply my mind to make sure that I understand each and every word of what they are saying. If you struggle to understand, it's either this person is saying things that you don't know, you have never heard of, or they are not in your vocabulary. Or you just switch off. You don't want to listen. You know, it's possible that you can shut your memory down. You decide to say, you know what, I'm not going to listen to this. I'm sitting here, but I'm not listening. And how do you do that? You shut your brain up. You use what we call a selective memory. What you don't want to hear, you don't want to hear, and that's it. I remember in the same class, I once cited an example of sitting at church when the pastor is preaching and I don't understand what he's talking about. You just sit there for the sake of respect, but you're not listening. Your mind is busy with other things. I even said, you know, the mind, it's very interesting. Human beings are very much interesting. As I'm talking, if you can check in your mind what you are thinking, there are so many things that comes and goes whilst we are busy here. They come and go, they come and go, they come and go. And your memory is forever busy. There's no way that your memory doesn't function. A human being's memory functions all the time, 24/7, all the time. Sleeping or awake, the memory is working. First, you need to translate ideas into words, phonological. Then translate the words into visual signs of writing, visual spatial, as you type or write by hand. That's what you do. You translate ideas. You hear me talking. What you are busy doing now, you are translating what I'm saying into words. Yeah, that's phonological. Your comprehension is working. Your memory is storing words. Your stored words from your memory communicate with you, not with me. I communicate with you, but your memory communicates with you because you have everything in your brain that you have stored. Then you go to the signs of writing. If I can say, write a sentence now, you are going to be able to write a sentence because the words that are in your brain, you convert them to signs of writing. All the alphabetical letters come together and you write. The connection between listening skills, writing skills, and comprehension, the ways in which they inform one another and how to use them to develop one another. Writing, comprehension. By the way, all the time you must remember the topic. What is it that we are learning? It's about writing and comprehension. But you cannot just talk about writing without listening. You cannot talk about listening without hearing. Those are the skills that all come together to be comprehended by your mind, by your brain. Now you know how the brain works. And you will know when the child's brain is not developing. You know, there are children who are 15 years old, but still thinking and doing things like 5-year-olds because the memory is not functioning properly. And maybe this problem was not detected earlier so that this child can find help, go to relevant schools, be trained on other things, and so on and so on. It's a lot that we need to know about the brain and your comprehension. And if you're a writer, you must always check your comprehension. Check if you can hear when people talk fast or slow or very, very fast. There are people who are fast talkers. They speak quickly, and if you are a journalist, you have to be there to listen quickly, to listen and write. Fortunately, we have technology. People can just record. There are things that are used today. When you listen to people talking, you record and you later sit and write. But have you ever asked yourself what was happening in the past, long time ago, when these things were not there? People were writing with their hands. They were listening and writing very, very quickly when the speaker is speaking. Now you want to report the matter and you are interviewing this person. You ask questions and write at the same time. I always felt that this journalists' comprehensions are the best because they can ask questions and write, and they can, formulate questions whilst talking to you, whilst interviewing you, apart from the questions that they have prepared to come and ask whilst you are giving this, so that they can report better. Now, in today's generation, they record the speech and go and sit down, put it down on paper and so on, of which, whilst you are doing that, those who can comprehend quickly for their papers, they're going to get the story first, and they're going to be the first ones to tell the public about the story. So if you are too slow, you will always come last. That is why your comprehension as a writer must be up to standard. Your phonological part, your visual spatial part, and the executing part should be very, very sharp. You don't have to wait for somebody or to wait for something to happen. You must just be able to use them. And again, I say it last, you train yourself to do some of these things. It's out of discipline that you say, you know, I want to listen properly. You take time to listen to something and say, after that, you say, okay, what did I hear? What are the main facts of what was said here? What are the important things? You train your brain as somebody who is learning to have your comprehension working properly so that you write properly. Even when you write academically, you are going to interview people for your research. And you need, much as you have the recording stuff, but you need to listen, because what a person says is more important to you for your studies. You heard this person might say this and change and say this, but the first thing that you heard is the right one. If this person changes, you must know that now they've thought of the question quickly in their memory, and now they are trying to modify it, which is not the right one. I always think that way, that when I ask you a question and you answer quickly, and at the same time you say, oh, no, let me put it this way, it means you realize that the way you said it is correct, and I'm going to use it as a journalist. Now you want to modify it. So that's where the problem is, with the listening person and the one who's writing the story and the one who's asking questions or answering questions. The connection between listening skills, writing skills, and comprehension, the ways in which they inform one another and how to use them to develop one another. They work together. There is no way that one works independently from the other. The writing process. We are on the writing comprehension. It involves gathering ideas and selecting words. This corresponds to the pre-writing or planning strategies. By the way, we did this. We did this pre-writing or planning strategies. You are listening. You are pre-writing, or you are planning your writing. If you are planning to write an essay, you want a topic. You plan, this is my topic. And after the topic, you want this introduction that is going to be the introduction that is going to attract the reader. Your introduction, it doesn't matter, it's an academic introduction, or it's a journalistic introduction, or is an introduction where you address people on a certain subject, or it's an advertisement introduction. It doesn't matter. It must have a bang. Your introduction must have a bang so that we look at what you are saying. We read further. But if the introduction is cold, gray, and dull, who wants to read that? No one is going to want to read that. Transcriptions refers to the while writing part, which is the physical effort of writing and using grammar to construct a text, although you'd check grammar correctness specifically during post-writing. If you can go to the past slides, you'll see where we went deeper on this transcriptions of pre-writing or planning while writing. We have gone deeper in those slides. To construct a text, although you'd check grammar correctness specifically, I even said you can check your grammar. It's good to check your grammar on your own before you apply these systems that are there to check your grammar. I even cautioned you on the grammar that is not the same. The language sounds the same, but the grammar is not the same in Australia. The pronunciation is not the same in America. The pronunciation is not the same in England, and so on and so on. So if you are writing here in South Africa, you know what to use. I remember one student asking, are we saying generalization with a Z or with an S? Then we use S, we don't use Z. So you check as you study which language is appropriate. And if you want to use a system to check your grammar, which system is allowed in our studies. You know, when you are an academic, you want to reference, there are different types of referencing when you write. And the common one, or the most popular, the one that is used a lot, is the Harvard referencing. You check what is it that is used. But you are not going to write wrong things like a capital letter somewhere in the middle, except if it's a noun. But if it's not a noun, you know the capital letter should always be at the beginning of your sentence. You write it properly so that you know the correctness specifically during post-writing. When you are listening, you are pre-writing, you are writing, you are checking grammar. When you are listening to a person talking and this person doesn't know how to use the preposition, this person doesn't know how to use the pronouns, it's tough. But if you are taking a story, you leave out the grammar part of this confusion, you take the gist of the message that this person is delivering to you is what is important. So you correct that while writing. Then during the post-writing, you revise and edit. This is when you check your spelling and grammar, the capitalization, the punctuation, and paragraphs for legibility and correctness. You know, if you write on, whether you type or you write something very long, 1 page, no paragraphs, no punctuations. You don't check the spelling and you say you are writing. When I receive your work to mark, where should I start? Where is the introduction? Where are paragraphs? You know, that type of script irritates the reader before you even read. You don't even want to read. You know, some students fail before their work is being marked or looked at. Oh, the network again took me out, but it's back. Thank you. I was saying some students fail because of how they have presented their work. So this module helps you to understand such. We have dealt with that a lot, that you present your work in a decent way. You must have paragraphs. And you know, if you look at my slides, I try to use those things, the capitals, where to write capitals. When my topic is the writing process, there is the beginning of the word of my sentence. Writing, I say writing, W with a capital, because it's important. Process, the word process, capital P, because I want you to be attracted to the slide that I'm giving. So the first paragraph, I didn't just mix everything together, because this one is about pre-writing, the other one is while writing, and the other one is post-writing. That they're different. So that's how you should write. Plan your writing. Plan your writing so that when you come to your post-writing, you revise and edit. Before you ask somebody to edit your work, edit yourself first. Edit your work first. But you won't be able to edit if you don't have enough vocabulary. You won't be able to edit if your brain didn't store a lot, or is the type of brain that doesn't store a lot of vocabulary. You will not be able to edit. Hence, people today run to using the systems to edit for them, and sometimes the system is wrong. The system changes your mind, what you wanted to write. The system can easily change what you were trying to put across the reader. So there goes the system changes, and you didn't say that. I even said the other time, the smartphones do have that system of helping you to write when you are writing something in your messages, your WhatsApp or whatever. If you have been writing using one word, you'll see that word coming and coming, because it captures what you use frequently. So sometimes you don't need that, and it gives you that. And if you don't edit before you send the message, you're going to send something that you didn't mean. So you've got to be very, very careful when it comes to post writing. Edit your work before you ask your friend or partner to edit for you, before you take it to the systems. With academics, you have to edit and give it to a professional editor. With private sectors like journals and other people, you have to, there is an editor in every company. There is an editor who is there to edit the work. Now, they are not only editing the grammar, the capitals and what have you, the spelling, of what you write, of which the academics, when your supervisor says the content is fine and everything, you take your work to the editor to edit now the spelling, grammar, capitalization, and so forth. They don't edit your content, because your content, there is someone who is taking care of it. That is your supervisor, who is helping you to write your thesis or semi-thesis or whatever. There is this person who's helping you. They don't edit. They just check the content, if it makes sense from chapter 1 to chapter 12 or whatever. But the editor in the journalistic or advertising companies, they check the content also, if it's properly done. So their skills are very much sharpened. Because when you come with content, another thing, when you come with content, you must have got content that has been proven, not a hearsay content, because people will take you to jail with the hearsays. Now you check content. If I say I've seen this, here is a document, you check with the people that this thing happened, yes. Unlike an accident, when you report about an accident, you are there, you see two cars colliding. The content there, it's straightforward and clear, because no one is involved. It is your eye and your brain that is working. What you are seeing is what you're going to write. And you know what is funny about the human brain? We can see the same thing, and we end up reporting it differently. It's very, very quite interesting. I don't know whether you have ever heard or seen the scenario of a 9 and a 6, how it is written. A 9 is written, somebody says on the floor, somebody says, oh, that's a 6. And the other one says, it's not a 6, it's a 9, because this person is standing the other side. Now, can you see that we see things differently? That's the human brain, and that's how communication is. It comes with different perspectives, different interpretations. I mentioned that earlier. The writing process continues. Post-writing is part of transcription, as the success of a piece of writing is tested in terms of how well it communicates a message. I've been mentioning this thing. The correct use of language is crucial for an effective message. The correct use of language is crucial for an effective message. If your language is mixed up, say you want to say something in English and you add Afrikaans and Zulu and Setswana at the same time, the message won't be effective because you are going to ask yourself, what is this person saying? What is this person saying? Because the language usage is not appropriate. This person is just saying things that you don't understand. There are musicians that are singing. Well, some of them just sing one word repeatedly forever and lots of noise about using the drums, using the guitar, or using the keyboard. But when you want to listen to the message, there is no message. This person is just using one or two words, doom, 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 with the bass is very loud, the drum, the big drum is very loud, but people are dancing. When you ask, you want to listen and check why. What is this person singing? What is this person saying? You don't hear anything. Let me go to church again. You go to church, people are not singing, well, I'm old school, hymns. Hymns are sung at church. Now, sometimes hymns are not sung. We hear things like choruses. You only hear hallelujah, hallelujah for 30 minutes. Hallelujah has been pulled. So after 5 seconds, I ask myself, what is this person saying now? Because I hear hallelujah, hallelujah. Okay, somebody's leaving. Thank you. Goodbye. You will receive the slides. There's no meaning in what this music is going, because it's a chorus. It's repetitive. Thank you. It's repetitive, and you don't. It doesn't have meaning. Because a chorus is meant to be sung there once or twice, and that's it. It delivers the message. The few words that are there are enough. But if it's sung repeatedly for 30 minutes until umfundisi, the pastor, comes in and we just drag it, we are no more doing what we are supposed to do, worshiping or praising. We are not doing that. We are just dragging something and we don't even know what we are doing. So writing is also like that. When you communicate to people, your language must be correct. Your message must be effective. If it's not effective, why writing? You're writing nothing. Writing is usually inspired by a stimulus. In factual writing, the stimulus can be a topic or subject to write about, usually formulated as a question. You ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I listening to this? So you inspire people with what you are introducing, the topic or the subject. When I say writing with comprehension, it's a topic or it's a subject. It doesn't matter how you call it. But at the end of the day, you want to hear, what is this about? What is the content of this topic? You just see, I left, when it kicked me out, I was talking about the stimulus can be a topic throughout, usually formulated as a question. Then I gave an example of saying, my topic today is writing and comprehension. That is my subject. So we want to know the content of this topic. And how you are going to use it. That's the example I'm giving. Your writing will be a response to the topic or answer to the question. That is your writing. You are going to write. When we part here, you can just try to do what I said. You must train your brain to say, but what is it that I gathered today from this lesson? What was the gist of the whole thing? Yes, she spoke about brain. Oh, by the way, okay. She gave examples of Alzheimer. What is it? You try to bring back everything that you heard. And some people, our brains are not the same. Some people have this, they call it retrospective mind. When I'm listening, I listen without writing. It's better for me to listen so that whatever the speaker is saying is stuck in my mind, is stuck in my brain. Now, when I sit down and write, I just write down everything that I heard because of this type of memory that I have. It accumulates and it puts back. You know, like a picture, you can look at this picture and close your eyes and draw it. There are people, the people who can draw have that type of mind, but we don't have the same type of brain, all of us, and we were not trained the same how to use our brains so that we can comprehend the same way. We cannot comprehend the same way because of how we were trained. What is it that you gathered as you grow? Or you decide to train yourself in a different sphere of life. Like when I say, I don't want to forget this, I'm not going to use an alarm to wake up. I must just wake up at 5 o'clock. And it happens because you put it in your brain that way that I'm not using an alarm. Your system knows that when it's 5 o'clock, you wake up. And that's it. And some people cannot do that. They are used to be helped by the alarm clock. I hope you understand what I'm trying to clarify here. Engaging with the topic. This is a vital part and generate ideas from a stimulus. You are able now. This is the process. You are busy, compiling everything that as you are listening. Brainstorming and free writing. You always hear students, especially high school students and university students, like saying, we are just going to brainstorm on this issue to see how we can go about it. Brainstorming and free writing. Brainstorming involves writing down as many ideas or words about your chosen topic as you can, as quickly as possible. You jot down randomly or as a list with commas or even as bullet points. When you're brainstorming, you have a topic. You brainstorm on this topic. Yeah, again, you jot down the ideas that comes into your mind when you got something. You talk to other people if you want to do it together. But quickly, you can jot them down randomly or as a list with commas, or if you are invited as a public speaker, as a guest speaker somewhere, you are a public speaker, and the first thing that you're going to do, you want to know, okay, it's a graduation party of my child. How old is the child? The child is 22 years old, okay. Who will be the guests? You ask the person who's inviting you, who will be the guests there? Okay, it will be parents and children of, different people. You jot down as you are going to write, right? Then you again ask a question. How long are you going to give me time to speak? Then after you've gathered all this, now you're going to brainstorm. For me to manage this, do you have a specific topic? No, I don't have a specific topic, but just know that the area is like this. If you are a speaker, You want those those words. You want information. What type of people you are going to address on that day. So you are going to sit down and brainstorm on your own to say, okay, I'm going to touch on this one, touch this, touch that quickly, and already you have your topic. If you use your own topic. I'm back again. I was gone, but I'm back. So you already have your topic from brainstorming. You can brainstorm with the person who's like, well. Now, free writing is similar to brainstorming, but employs sentences rather than words or phrases. Free writing, which is used to develop a flow of ideas, can serve as a warm-up exercise. You know, free writing, you do it with other people. You can do it alone. If you want, you have a topic you want about, masters, you choose a topic. But before you do that, before you even take it out to other people, you talk to yourself about it. You want to, it's possible this you can collect information without people to allocate a supervisor for you. You are aware that, yeah, no, this topic, it is possible. That is brainstorming and free writing. You prepare yourself so that your stimulus, your topic, your subject can be enticing. Your subject can give people something. You can use it after brainstorming or as a strategy by itself. At this point, you should not focus on grammar or correctness. You can use the first person if you want. Just jot down your or your response to the stimulus. That's how you do it when you start writing about something. Maybe some of you are going to be novel writers. Some of you are going to write about other people's lives. So you must be able to have a starting point. Some of you will be speakers in public. You know, you are invited, you are a public speaker, you are a motivator, a fashionable thing nowadays, it's motivators. They go, they motivate people, they do what? Sometimes motivation can be in two ways. It can be helpful, it can be just a waste of time sometimes, and then people just use that, especially in some companies. They'll say, no, it's our year-end party now, we just want somebody to ask. My question is, how do I motivate you when you are going on holiday? What is it that you want to be motivated on? Of which, when you invite me at the beginning of the year, you'll give me a topic that this year or last year we didn't work well. Our company was not so great. We went down with on our figures. We didn't make a lot of profit, and we didn't give people the bonuses that they wanted. So as a speaker, I'm invited now to motivate these people to say it's not the end of the world. Life still goes on. It's good to motivate people at that stage, not when they're going on holiday. It's November, December. You want a motivational speaker. What a waste of time. Who am I going to talk to? Except wasting my time preparing so hard. And those people are not interested. They are so tired. They just want to go on leave. They just want to see the company closed and they're going to rest. They're tired. So these are the things that I'm talking about, that you can brainstorm, and you must have a strategy. If you can choose to be a public speaker, you must have a strategy. Who are you talking to? Who are you addressing? Who are you, what, the what part and the how part. That is very, very important to address people on such. And don't just go, oh, they invited me, I'm a guest speaker. Where, for what? If the school invites me to say, our matrics are going to sit for their exams, we want somebody to motivate them. To me, it's a waste of time. These children could have been motivated in grade 9, grade 8, grade 10. That's where they were supposed to be motivated, that, by the way, your road is there. You're going to 12. You're not interested in grade 12. Grade 12, it's the end of the story. So if you want to motivate a child in grade 12, what are you doing? Wasting time. If you're going to be speakers, and you are you out again, and I still have a few slides to go through. I was out again, but I'm back now. Thank you. I still have a few slides. Clustering and outlining. Clustering is also called mind mapping. It focuses on exploring the connection between ideas. You cluster the ideas. Some people understand themselves well when they draw lines that are from here, I'll go there, from there, I'll go, like a real map, you know, the map that you use. And clustering can help you generate ideas, but it is specifically helpful for developing a structure in respect of what you want to say. When you want to say something, it's either at a funeral, wedding, it doesn't matter where you are. You generate ideas that, yeah, I'm going to talk to these people about this because this is what you see. So in your mind, you generate ideas. You do your mind mapping, and you develop a structure how you're going to present it so that you attract these people. You can select a single main idea. You can use a keyword from your stimulus or keywords from your brainstorming or free writing. You can write this main word or phrase in the center of a sheet of paper. Write ideas around it and draw lines to show which ideas are connected to what. Sometimes people in big companies, companies that are run properly, before they come up with something, they sit down behind closed doors to say, we are going to formulate this. We are going to restructure our company this way. Then they sit down to say the main word, discipline, for instance. Then they put the word there, discipline. Then they ask each other, what can we do? Our workers are not disciplined. They come late. They don't finish work on time. This takes more time than what they're supposed to do. So let us have a strategy to motivate them. So they work around those the ideas until somebody sits now and say, okay, now we formulate a strategy how to want to make them to be fruitful, to enjoy what they are doing, and they do it right. I hope the examples that I'm giving are helping someone somewhere. I hope so. The clustering, I'm still on the clustering. This will help you understand what points to make to support your argument, which ideas to group together in one paragraph, and how the different main points should follow on one another. You do all this because you have an aim. You have something in your mind that you want to deliver. Even when you are writing about a company, maybe you have seen something wrong and you want to tell the world about what is happening in that company. People are not treated fairly. You cluster words first before you that is interviewing, or you can cluster words by observing. Outlining, as you already know from an introduction, body, and conclusion. That is outlining what you want to write about. You outline, you make an outline for a piece that you are going to write, the structure, and indicate what you want to say, organizing your ideas into coherent argument. You can also make your outlining after writing if you prefer. You know, with academics, you have this outlining that you have to put to write the first page that you tell us shortly what is in your thesis. Novel writers, the outlining is in the cover, the outside part of the cover or the inside part of the cover. They outline the story. The novel is about 500 pages, but the outlining is just a page, 1 page or 3 paragraphs. The outlining is there. That's what I'm talking about, outlining. So you can do it before or after. When you do it after, it means the whole thing is done, the whole writing, the whole book or the whole novel, the whole thesis is done. When you do it before, this outlining is in your mind, it's done. When you plan a party, you want to plan a wedding for someone, you outline the plan in your head before you can put it down. You know exactly what is it you're going to do, what you're going to say, what is it that you're going to need. You outline. Critical reading and thinking. Part of your pre-writing process is to read your sources very carefully. Your sources. When writing about a poem or short story, use close reading to develop an argument about the text, right? When writing about a factual topic, critically read your source material and evaluate it for substance and accuracy. When writing a creative piece, think critically about what message you want to convey or what theme you want to address. While you are writing, keep in mind that you are writing for a reader. Never forget that. Always remember, this is not my work. It's my work, but not my work. Somebody's going to read. And how do I make that somebody to perceive this piece of work that I'm doing, to understand it, to like it, to read more about it? That's very important. So you critically read and think at the same time. That lesson where we're doing critical reading, critical thinking, critical writing, critical communication. Try to put yourself in the reader's space and organize your thoughts to make it easy for the reader to understand. Use only one main idea per paragraph and use clear and concise language. More specifically, keep in mind the audience for whom you are writing. Are you writing for children, for a teacher, or for your peers? This will influence your tone, formal or informal, friendly or professional, and the level of difficulty. I think what I've been doing this whole period, I've been at your level. I've been specific because my audience wants to understand about writing, and that's what it should be. It's related to the purpose of writing. Are you writing to inform? Are you to evoke emotions? This will likewise influence your tone as well as your choice of words. For example, you would not use informal slang in an academic essay or overly stiff and formal language in a blog. You should be conscious of your purpose while writing to make your voice and intention clear. Afterwards, you will again consider these aspects when you revise to make sure that you have succeeded in the purpose of your writing. Thank you very much for attending.